Look, if you haven't done drugs with random people in a strange place, have you ever really been on vacation? Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch or Pass, and I'm wearing my pineapple shirt because I'm ready to go on a trip with my vacation friends. John Cena, Lil Rel Howery, Meredith Hagner, and Yvonne Orji coming to Hulu on August 27th, 2021. So I thought this would be like a movie in this long series of vacation movies, but it's not. It's a very different film, but it is very funny. So I'm going to talk a little about the film, go into three things I like, three things I didn't like about it. I'm not going to go into spoilers or the ending because Hulu has asked reviewing press to not reveal spoilers so that you all can find out on your own. So I'm going to respect that and only go into some very generic things about the film. But I'll try to give a good impression of what I thought of the film and things I really liked. So in Vacation Friends, you have a couple, Marcus, played by Lil Rel Howery, and Emily, played by Yvonne Orji, who are going on vacation. And Marcus has this really wonderful proposal planned. And needless to say, it doesn't go as planned, but they do meet this crazy couple in Ron and Kyla, played by John Cena and Meredith Hagner. And whereas Marcus and Emily are very straight-laced, they have good plans, they don't really put themselves out there, but they're both very prim and proper. Kyla and Ron are the exact opposite. They are crazy. They live life to the fullest. They drink and party and just kind of go about life in a very different way. And so, as you can imagine, this odd couple, they don't mesh very well at the start, but as the vacation goes on, they become friends. And so afterwards, when they decide to come home, some more hilarity ensues. Their different personalities don't exactly mesh with everyday life, and you have this very strange, ridiculous, but very fun situation. And so, things I liked about this movie. The first is the cast, but mainly John Cena. I mean, look, I'm a big Cena fan. He's a really good actor, and he's very funny. And I like that he kind of pokes fun at himself and is really, he kind of puts himself out there and lets himself be part of the humor, because that kind of makes this film's humor. John Cena does a really good job with just his serious but often ridiculous personality that you kind of know him for. He's insane, but he really kind of pushes everyone to the limit. And some of the things he says are just completely random and also very funny. And then you also have Kyla, who is also quite insane. She's a little bit more actually crazy. John Cena is like fun, silly, crazy. She's like ridiculous, crazy. But they're very fun together, and they do come up with some very interesting scenarios and some very fun vacation activities that then go back to the real world and still fun. It's kind of like if what happens in Vegas comes back to your hometown and keeps happening over and over and over again. That's kind of what you can expect from this film. And so, as you can imagine, that's a very fun situation and also very stressful. So the next thing I really love is the humor. And there's a lot of very funny laugh out loud humor. There's a lot of very good drug references. There's a lot of Ron and Kyla challenging Marcus and Emily, trying to make them get out of their shell. Drug references, and just kind of living their lives in very different ways. And this leads to some very hilarious situations. A lot of them involve drugs. There's a lot of very funny drug humor in this film. Just kind of John Cena just throwing out random things here and there made me laugh every single time. But then there's also a lot of really crazy, awkward humor, because as you can expect with this kind of film, when you have these two very different personalities, they sometimes mesh and they sometimes don't. And that leads to some very funny situations. And the last thing I really loved is the surprises. This film will have some very big kind of shocking events that happen. That's kind of how these films are set up. You got some very big, awkward, crazy situations that occur, and this Vacation Friends is no different. You've got a lot of very funny situations that are awkward but also surprising, and I don't want to spoil it because I'm not supposed to, but needless to say that there are some scenarios that I did not expect to see. So let's see, three things I didn't love about the film. The first is it did feel a little bit long. I mean, the film is about an hour and 40 minutes. It has a really fun start. Although the start has a nice build up, so I didn't mind it being a little slow there because you kind of get to know the characters. And then there's this part in the middle that kind of slows down, and it has a kind of a really fun, ridiculous conclusion as well. So in the middle, it does kind of drag a little bit. I felt like you could have cut a little bit, maybe edited some of the scenes down to tighten it up and made it a little bit of a smoother runtime. It's not bad though. It's not doesn't really wear its welcome thin, but it does feel a little bit long, especially in the middle. The second thing I didn't love is that the film isn't one note. Like the film has a decent amount of jokes, but they all tend to be around similar subjects. So the humor can feel very similar, despite the jokes still being very funny throughout the film. There does seem to kind of go on a certain theme, and it would have been nice to see a little bit more variety in the jokes and the humor and the situations. But again, this film is a very funny film, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. And the last thing I didn't really love is there, and this is a personal pet peeve of mine. There are no outtakes in the credits. The credits just roll. And a film like this, where you've got John Cena, Lil Rel Howery, Meredith Hagner, and Yvonne Orji, and a lot of other very funny. In a film like this, we have a very, very funny cast, and I imagine lots of really great outtakes and a lot of kind of ad-libbing. In a film like this, where you have a really funny cast and a lot of, I assume, improvisation, or at least outtakes when people mess up, I would expect there to be some very funny goofs that could be shown during the credits. And I really love seeing that at the end, where you see either footage that wasn't used because someone messed up, or just people just being these actors kind of being themselves, or kind of breaking out of their shell when they mess up. I really love seeing that kind of stuff, and this film didn't have it. I kind of expect that from most comedies. Like a comedy, you would expect to have some scenes during the credits of silliness, or maybe like a post-credit scene where you get a little bit more, and there's another ridiculous situation. That's just kind of what I would expect from a film like this, and there wasn't that. So it was a little bit of a letdown, especially at the end. After you kind of had this long journey, you kind of expect a little bit more. But those things, they're not game changers, but it did kind of. So those criticisms, they're not that major, but that was things that I do wish it would have changed up. But that's that all that being said, Vacation Friends is a very funny film. There's a lot of really ridiculous humor, there's a lot of really fun situations. It's got a really good cast. I'm like, look, if I'm on vacation and Cena and Meredith Hagner are there and they're crazy, I'll probably still go. I'll go with them. I'll do whatever ridiculous things they want to do. And if John Cena wants to be my best friend, then that's fine, great. I'm happy to do it. It's a fun way to spend a movie night. It's streaming on Hulu, so you can check it out at home. You don't really even have to leave your house to take this vacation with these ridiculous, crazy people. So that's Vacation Friends. It's coming to Hulu on August 27th, 2021. And thanks so much for watching. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.